In episode 7, the truth about the prison massacre reaches the public. Zora makes a surprising choice that saves Moses, the inmates take control of the prison, and Bali is pushed into making the most irreversible decision of her life. At the center of everything is one question: how far can people go in the name of justice before they become part of the violence they're fighting against? For much of the story, the police have controlled the narrative surrounding the deadly prison operation. They presented the violence as a legitimate response to an attempted escape. But Lolo knows that isn't the full story. She explains that the operation was actually a planned massacre, and that the police destroyed the footage that could have exposed what really happened. Eventually, the missing footage surfaces. The video shows Agnes shooting Moses during the prison operation, contradicting the official version of events. Once the footage is released online, it goes viral and changes public opinion. The police can no longer dismiss the deaths as an unfortunate consequence of the escape. The footage proves that there was something much darker behind the operation. And this is why everyone has been desperate to find Lolo and the recording. Whoever controls the footage has the power to expose the people responsible. Jabu's death is one of the finale's most tragic moments because he represents the future Mbali keeps trying to protect. During the rescue of Lolo, Jabu is wounded. Mbali tries to keep him alive, reminding him of his first day at medical school and the future he could have had. But Jabu loses too much blood and dies. His death reminds Mbali that the fight for justice isn't abstract anymore. Real people are dying because of the choices everyone is making. Mbali has been trying to save people, expose corruption, and protect her family, but every attempt seems to create another tragedy. That guilt becomes important later when she has to decide what to do about Tao. Zora is manipulated into becoming part of a plan to kill Moses. Agnes and the prison authorities expect Zora to finish the job. He even enters Moses' hospital room with a knife hidden under his seat, but Zora refuses to become another murderer for the system. Instead of killing Moses, Zora frees him. The two men turn against the wardens, escape the hospital room, and return to the prison, where Moses is able to rally the inmates. Zora's decision shows that he hasn't abandoned the principles behind Gazlam. Gazlam was originally created to protect prisoners from a brutal system. Zora may be exhausted and desperate to leave that life behind, but he still recognizes that killing Moses would mean becoming exactly what the system wants him to become. Once Moses returns, the prisoners rise up. The prison falls into chaos, with inmates taking control and holding officers hostage. But Moses refuses to let the uprising become nothing more than a bloodbath. He confronts Skara, who betrayed the prisoners and worked with Agnes, so the inmates want him punished. Moses defeats him, but he refuses to allow his men to kill Skara's remaining associate. Instead, he gives the prisoners a warning. If they start killing each other, the authorities win. Moses understands that division is one of the system's greatest weapons. If the prisoners turn against one another, they destroy themselves without the authorities having to do it. That is why his declaration, "My blood is my brother's blood," becomes so powerful. The prisoners unite around that idea and demand real change rather than revenge. The prison uprising becomes a national crisis, forcing the MEC of police to come personally to the prison. Moses and the inmates demand the Madlanga Commission, dignity and respect for prisoners, proper enforcement of the law, and the immediate removal of Agnes Koza. The government eventually agrees to remove Agnes and acknowledges that the footage circulating online is being investigated. The inmates then begin releasing their hostages. So although the prison uprising is chaotic and violent, Moses turns it into a political statement about justice, accountability, and prisoner rights. The finale's other major confrontation happens outside the prison. Crystal confronts Tao because she wants the copies of the footage that could expose the police operation. She shoots him, but Tao gains the upper hand. Then Bali arrives. She points a gun at Tao. Tao is confident that she won't pull the trigger. He knows Bali has spent the entire season trying to save people rather than kill them. But this time, something has changed. Mbali has lost Jabu. She's watched people suffer because of the corruption surrounding the prison operation, and she knows how much damage Tao has caused. When Tao tells her that she doesn't have it in her, he's challenging her to prove him wrong. And she does. Mbali shoots Tao dead. It's a shocking ending because Mbali spent the story trying to use the law to achieve justice. Now in the finale, she abandons that path completely. Whether Tao deserved to be punished is not really the point. The important part is what killing him does to Mbali. She's crossed a line that she can never uncross. While all of this is happening, Spelele is trying to escape his old life. After everything he's done, he goes to Ntombi's family and admits that he wants to become a better father to his son Stembiso. He knows he's caused enormous pain, but he also admits that he doesn't want to continue living the way his family has always lived. His baptism, therefore, represents a possible new beginning. And like Mbali, who ends the episode by killing Tau, Spelele is trying to find redemption by walking away from violence. That contrast is important. Both characters have been trapped in the same cycle, but they end the finale moving in opposite directions. The finale is about justice versus revenge. Moses achieves something powerful when he stops his own followers from killing Skara. He understands that revenge will only help the system divide them further. Spelele chooses repentance. Zora chooses to save Moses instead of killing him. The prisoners unite instead of destroying one another, but Mbali makes the opposite choice. After losing Jabu and watching the truth become entangled with corruption, she finally kills Tau. That's what makes the ending so complicated. Mbali wins, but she also loses part of herself in the process. The truth about the prison massacre is finally out. Agnes has been exposed. The prisoners have forced the government to listen. Moses is alive, and Gazlem has regained control of the prison. But Mbali's victory comes at a terrible personal cost. The final image of her fleeing into the streets after shooting Tau leaves her future uncertain. She spent the entire story trying to fight injustice through the law, yet the finale ends with her becoming a killer herself. And that is the real question Umthetho leaves us with. If the system refuses to deliver justice, what happens when the people fighting against it decide to deliver justice themselves?